Something shifts in many women between 35 and 45. Not loudly, not all at once, but internally. 1 year she's moving through life with structure and routine, building a home, managing responsibilities, holding everything together. Then something unsettles her, not because she suddenly became reckless, not because she stopped caring, but because midlife doesn't just age the body, it confronts identity. And identity, when it's threatened, reacts violently. For decades, most women receive consistent external reinforcement. From adolescence into adulthood, you're beautiful, you're desired, you're wanted, you're chosen. Even if she never consciously depended on it, her nervous system registered it. Attention became normal. Validation became background noise. Being noticed became part of her psychological oxygen. Then somewhere around 40, the volume lowers, not to zero, but lower. And when something that once felt automatic requires effort, the brain interprets that as loss. This is where the crisis begins. It's not vanity, it's identity destabilization. If part of her self-worth was built on being desired, then reduced external validation feels like erasure. She looks in the mirror and doesn't see ugly. She sees change. And change forces a terrifying realization. Time is irreversible. At 25, life feels expandable. At 40, life feels measurable. That shift alone can trigger panic. Now add neurochemistry. Dopamine is tied to novelty, anticipation, and pursuit. In early adulthood, life provides constant novelty, new relationships, new attention, new possibilities. By midlife, stability replaces novelty. Stability is safe, but safety does not spike dopamine. So the brain starts searching, not always consciously, but chemically. It wants intensity. ALIVENESS. Proof that nothing essential has disappeared. This is when subtle changes begin. More attention to appearance, more nostalgia about the past, more curiosity about what else is out there. It's not always about infidelity. It's about reassurance. At 22, a compliment is expected. At 42, a compliment feels confirming. It answers a silent question. Do I still matter? And that validation lands harder than people realize. If her identity expanded over time into skills, wisdom, influence, character, midlife becomes evolution. But if identity remained anchored primarily in external validation, midlife feels like collapse. This is where some women grow deeper, and others grow restless. Restlessness is dangerous when combined with comparison. Social media amplifies it. Carefully curated reinvention stories. Starting over, living my truth, finding myself. The brain sees highlight reels and compares them to routine reality. Reality always oozes to fantasy. The fantasy of eternal youth, perpetual excitement, being pursued again. And here's the critical distinction. It's not about wanting another person. It's about wanting the feeling she once had. The feeling of being chosen, of being magnetic. Of being new. When that feeling becomes the target, stability starts to feel suffocating. Predictability feels invisible. Comfort feels dull. Familiarity feels like aging. This is not evil. It's existential fear. Fear of invisibility. Fear of irrelevance. Fear that the most exciting chapters are already behind her. And fear, when unexamined, makes people irrational. Midlife is the first time mortality feels real. The first time youth feels finite. The first time I'll reinvent myself someday feels urgent instead of optional. That urgency can become panic. Panic rewrites narratives. Panic romanticizes the past. Panic reframes normal dissatisfaction as imprisonment. But here's the truth. No new person fixes aging. No external validation permanently restores identity. No dramatic reinvention stops time. Because the issue was never the marriage, or the partner, or the routine. It was unresolved attachment to youth as identity. Women who navigate this stage powerfully do something different. They detach self-worth from appearance. They shift validation inward. They build identity around depth instead of attention. And something fascinating happens. Instead of chasing novelty, they become grounded. Instead of needing to be desired, they become selectively desirable. Instead of panicking about fading youth, they leverage experience. Midlife does not destroy women. It exposes foundation. If the foundation was external, the shift feels catastrophic. If the foundation was internal, the shift feels transformative. This is the part nobody explains clearly. The danger isn't turning 40. The danger is reaching 40 without redefining identity. Because when identity stays frozen at 25, aging feels like theft. But when identity evolves, aging feels like power. The real warning signs are not cheating, not rebellion, not even drastic change. The real warning signs are obsessive comparison, constant nostalgia, sudden desperation for validation, resentment toward normal responsibility. Those are signs of panic, not empowerment. And panic decisions rarely create long-term happiness. The women who thrive after 40 understand something profound. Attention is temporary. Youth is temporary. Novelty is temporary. But depth, self-awareness, confidence without external approval, those increase with age. The question isn't whether something changes at 40. It always does. The question is, will it become crisis or evolution? Because midlife isn't a time bomb. It's a mirror, and what it reveals depends entirely on what identity was built upon.